Welcome, artists, to our fourth step in our portraits unit. Again, we are going to start with a blank page in our sketchbook. And what you're going to do is you are going to divide this page up into 4 sections. Now, if you have an 8.5 by 11 sketchbook, that is going to mean you're going to make a mark at 4 1/4, which is right here. And you're going to go to the bottom of your sketchbook and make a mark at 4 1/4, which I know you can't see. You're going to line up those 2 dots or marks and put a line down through there. Then you're going to go on the right side, and half of 11 is 5 1/2, and 5 1/2. And then you're going to connect those 2 dots, and it is indeed 5 1/2. So now I've broken my sketchbook page up into 4 different sections, and you're going to use these sections to create 3 drawings of ears. Now, you have in your assignment this ear tutorial. For the first step, I'm going to walk you through these first 8 steps of the ear tutorial. Then for the second step, you're going to do these first 8 steps and the last 4 steps. And so you're going to make a completely fully shaded ear in your second block. And then for the last section, you're going to use one of these pictures of the guardian's ears, and you're going to draw a fully realized ear. Now you can see from this picture how different ears are. They're just like noses and lips that we've already done. Lots of variation. So when we look at our tutorial, we understand that it's just a guide. It's just to help us. There are slight variations because God made us with wonderful variety, and so there's some slight differences, but there are guidelines that help us understand the basic form and shape of ears. So without any more being said, I am going to pull up my own picture of ears on my own screen that you won't see, and I'm going to walk you through these first steps. So the first step in this is to make this kind of awkward, I'd like to say it's a C shape, but it's really not a C shape. It's a very loose, strange C shape, I guess we could say. And it's not real important that you get the exact shape of that ear that's on your tutorial. Mine's slightly different. It's fine. So once you get that shape, what you want to do is come over, and this is just to help you understand the proportions. And you're going to make a line that represents the top of the ear and a line that represents the bottom. And you connect those 2 dashes. And then you divide those dashes in 2. Now if you want to use a ruler, you can, but please understand that your eyes are really a lot better than what you think at dividing things. This may not be perfect, but I'll bet you it's really close. So that's 3 1/4 or 3 3/4. Half of 3 3/4 is what is half of 3 3/4? 1 5/8? No, that can't be right. 7/8 maybe? Let's just do this. That's where I got the halfway mark. Yeah, I'm an 1/8 of an inch off, just slightly, so it's just a little lower. So you see how close I was? And it doesn't matter if I was that much off for the purposes of our tutorial. So we're going to divide it in half again. So what we're doing is creating 4 sections here that are equally spaced. Now let me show you what those represent. Those 4 sections represent, we'll call this one A, B, and C. The first one represents where your ear connects to the side of your head. And again, it might be slightly different. but it's a close, it's very close. The second one will represent where your inner ear starts, where the hole that goes into the side of your head, to where you actually can hear stuff. That's what that represents. And then this one will actually represent where the inside flap of this part of your ear touches the side of your head. So let me walk you through it. It's easy for me to explain. It's a lot easier for me to show you. So this part right here, that's where the middle of your ear is. Okay? And then you've got this crease, and we're just using line to represent this at first, in the back side of your ear. And then you've got this super weird shape that kind of comes to a rounded point right at that middle, and then it comes down below your C line. Okay? Then you've got the inside, this little knobby thing. I can't remember what it's called. It's got a specific name. But some people get it pierced, which can't be pleasant. And then I told you that that C line there was where your inner ear starts. That's where this is where the hole is, and it goes into your ear, where that is. And we're going to draw a line right here, kind of this curly shape, just represents another fold. And then inside of here, now you kind of shade this one because it's going to end up just being value. And then for the last step, what you want to do of this particular drawing is erase all your guidelines. And this is your first step. That simple, just lines to show you the basic shape of an ear. Okay, so that's your first step done. I hope you can see it okay on the screen. Let me go back over some of these lines very quickly so you can see them clearly. If you can't see them clearly on mine, you'll be able to see them clearly on the tutorial. But after I do this, I know you'll be able to. So there you go. There's step one right there. Done. Okay? So your next step, I'm going to go all the way through that again, and then I'm going to do the value, and then that will be your second step. Your third step, like I said, is to select one of your guardians and draw their ear as closely as you can. So again, your fourth block, just like when we did the lips, your sixth block will be free. So I'm going to stop talking now. I'm probably going to speed up the video through this part so you can just see quickly what is being done here. And I hope you have fun drawing ears. They're a very awkward part of our body. Everybody is so completely different. But if you understand the basic structure, just like all the other parts of the body, or the face rather, you'll do much better drawing ears when you need to. So without anything else, let's get going. All right, you can see I spent a bunch of time working on the value, just continuing to build it up. I could probably build it up even a little more in some of these darker areas, like where there's more shadows. So let me just encourage you, keep building those values up until they look just right. It takes time. It's worth going slow um, because if you build them up too fast, it's harder to pull back. So if you build them up slowly, it's easier to just gradually add those darker values until you get them to where you want them. It's a bit of a process, but it's pretty satisfying when you get finished and it looks right. So there is the second step of this is the full tutorial. You walked all the way through it. The first step, you just did the outlines. So in the next step, I'm going to choose one of the Guardian's ears and draw it fully. You use the same process. I'll show you how I use the process. And again, I'm going to speed up the video and let you guys enjoy. All right, guys, there is my ear. That is Karen Jillian's ear. It is not perfect. There's some issues with the shape around the outside here. I just didn't quite get it right, but it's pretty close, not perfect. That's why we're practicing, is so that we can get better at it, so that when we do our final portrait, we've had some time to warm up, get used to the idea. Once again, you saw me build up these values more and more until I got to a place where I felt like they were close. Could it still use a little more work? Absolutely. And I probably will do that off camera, but it's pretty close. It's starting to take shape. It's got form. So I think it's pretty successful. My I hope you noticed that when I colored around the outside, this dark portion, I did that for contrast so you could see the highlights along the edges of her ears. If you look in the picture, you can see those highlights on the very edges of her ears where the light's catching the back of her ear. So I wanted to try to include those a little bit. Again, Not a perfect rendition, but it's not too shabby. So I hope you guys are successful with this. I look forward to seeing your work and what you come up with, and just keep fighting through it. Draw what you see. Ears are full of weird lines and shapes, and so have fun with that. Enjoy, guys.